we have made a lot of advances specifically around the data. Data as of this year, we put a huge emphasis on gathering as much information as we can to make better decisions. But not just that information we're beginning to learn is providing us a perspective on the industry and some of the things that are out there today that few others have. And that makes it very challenging for us to talk too much publicly about these things before they're ready to actually go live to the public. And so a lot of that, unfortunately, has to kind of be curtailed going forward. How this impacts Unifi itself, the DAO itself, well, I think that we can finally start looking forward into how the DAO is going to operate and manage these smart contracts. From my perspective, it has long been the DAO that can be used for managing these smart contracts and things like that. But its number one mission in the future, going into 2023 and beyond, is going to be to decentralize itself. And that's going to be kind of the number one thing that Unifi itself can bring to the table. So if we're looking at how it's going to interact with a stable coin-based blockchain or a stable chain or something like that we're going to build in the future, the best directive that I can give is it needs to decentralize itself. That means that it needs to be able to operate independently. That means that it needs the ability and capabilities to implement new changes. And that does also mean that it needs to effort towards working with other companies, DAOs, apps, and things like that. So looking at 2023, the intent is to pass over a lot of smart contracts directly to the DAO to make sure that the DAO has the ability to execute or implement smart contract interactions itself, totally on its own, based off of votes and parameters that are all on chain. And frankly, the DAO needs enough capital to be able to do stuff. And today, I think that we see that there's a lot of talk about the circulating supply of Unifi and all these things. There is a lot of undistributed tokens that the DAO can kind of step in and kind of take itself and use to effort towards decentralization. And I think it's extremely important that we give it the leg up for it to make that effort itself so that it can step in and say, hey, we want to partner with XYZ company, with NFTs, with a different DAO, with go onto a different blockchain, do whatever it needs to do, and things can start to actually operate more organically as a true DAO. So that's kind of my thinking going into next year. And that's why you're seeing a lot of efforts around the UP token, the U trade, and these changes to make sure